thank you guys for giving me a couple of minutes to talk about this fascinating project. How are you? It's been a long day, huh?
Very good. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Thank you very much. So, let me start with you, Rupert. I really like the dynamics between both your characters. In an interview with Night Shyamalan, I was reading, he mentioned that you are usually quiet but with a dry sense of humor. However, in this series, your character is full of furious, angry energy. I believe that that's one of the beauties of acting, that you can be someone else. But is there like an exercise that you do before going into full character mode, or prepare, or how do you prepare before camera starts rolling? At least for this type of character.
Yeah, no, weirdly, I've always found Julian quite easy to kind of tune into. I mean, he is, like you say, he's completely the opposite of me. I'm quite a quiet, kind of reserved person who doesn't really. I mean, Julian is just this bullish, kind of loud, and has this real kind of arrogance, which I really enjoy. I enjoy stepping into that, and it's just a real thrill. That's what I love about acting, is kind of he's pretending to be other people, and he's a fun one. He's got this kind of great way with words, and usually, I mean, like with the accent as well, that always kind of helps you kind of get into it. And like the F word is something that he says all the time. So as soon as I drop a few F words, like, he's
Okay.
there. So it's it's a lot of fun.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So, Toby, in a certain way, your character is one of the characters who shows some signs of like a moral compass in how he treats the rest of the characters. So, how challenging is to enter, to go into a character like this within a story where personal agendas predominate?
Yeah, it is tricky, because there's kind of a moral corruption going on, and there's also apologies that need to be given, and anger that needs to be looked at, and instead he skips over it and starts to decide, especially in season 3, that perhaps he should be just a nicer person. If I'm a nicer person, then surely this will all be okay. And it's that bargaining you do instead of facing grief, instead of facing the actual issue. So it's really interesting to play. It was, again, like Rupert said, it was a character that I just very easily fell into season 1. There's been adjustments to the character that I found more challenging, so that's the beauty of being a student and trying to learn as you go. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So, Rupert, you're making like kind of a debut as a dad. However, your character is the opposite of what a father can do, or the opposite of a father that can exist. So how has parenting affected your approach to your character in this process, at least for the last 2 seasons?
I mean, as you say, Julian's not a dad, so it hasn't kind of hasn't had kind of done much in the way of that, but it's really given me an interesting perspective on what kind of just huge loss this is, and what this does to a family, and trying to kind of contemplate exactly how that would feel. Having a kid now definitely kind of, it makes that a lot more easier to kind of understand, and it's terrifying. It's probably the worst show to do and have a kid halfway through. But I mean, it's helpful as well in many ways. But and actually I brought her to the set as well this time, and weirdly Jericho and Wednesday are kind of in sync. They're the kind of same age now. Okay. So they're hitting the same milestones, which is quite creepy. But
excellent.
It's fun.
Excellent. Thank you. So one last question, Toby. Another important detail in this series is the food, that although it flows very well with the story, it is still not explicitly clear, at least to me, the purpose of it, from the way you the character handles it, the type of food, the camera shots. So what can you tell me about this aspect of the series?
I think, the explanation to what it represents was always very difficult to kind of pinpoint, because, the show is very much about perspective. So what it represents to Julian and Sean may be very different, or Leanne and, Dorothy. So I was glad this season we really got into food that was much more edible, food that was easier to eat, because it was difficult coming up with food, you know, with me and Drew, food that you could actually present and was edible and tasty for the actors to eat, that it looked like the idea that a writer had had. So, you know, there were some challenges, but, you know, we made some huge meatballs for haggises and did all kinds of various different things to make it as edible as possible and delicious, you know, because usually, you know, Rupert coined it perfectly. Usually it's given to you by a prop guy who kind of cooked it on his trailer, and it's kind of dubious. It might look great on camera, but you might not want to eat it more than once. So yeah, you'll see a lot of actors pushing it around a plate and go, no, the thing about, you know, before they bite it. But yeah, we make delicious food. You know, some of the pasta dishes have been truly excellent. So I was glad about the edibility of the food. That's not a word, but I'm going to use it.
Thank you very much, guys. My time is up again. It's a great series. Your performances are also awesome. So thank you for this conversation. And Rupert, I'm looking forward for this New Year's Eve Potters reunion. So stay safe.
Oh, great.
Happy holidays, guys, and gracias.